Hi, everybody. Hello. Okay. Just making sure the mic's working. Always got to make sure the mic's working because sometimes it don't. If I forget to do something, it don't. Hope everybody's good today. It's cold, you guys. It's so cold. It's only going to get colder. It's supposed to be really tomorrow, I think. It's 1 degree. It's 1 degree right now. It's ridiculous. 1 degree. What's up with that? Feels like 9 is 14. All the schools are canceled here. I guess it's gonna be warmer tomorrow. Well, that's good. Yeah, it's gonna be a whole 6 degrees tomorrow. A whole 6 degrees. I'm so excited. Oh, Lord, I'm sorry you had to go outside. Are your fingers okay? So, yeah, that's what's going on here. Cold, cold, cold. I can I commend the protesters in Minneapolis for being out in this weather because it's kind of ridiculous. She said she bundled up and got a good workout in, so she's okay. I almost froze my fingers off yesterday, so ice out ice. Ice out ice. Yeah, ice out ice. Ice ice out. Out out damn ice. It's a Shakespeare reference. In case you're aware. Oh, no reality TV. We're waiting until at least next week. Reality TV to kick in. I gotta make sure that there's no new episode this week. Hopefully it'll be like I guess there's like numerous uh of the couch interviews as they call 'em. So but it should be fun because my BFF is gonna has surgery next week, so she's gonna join us. She's usually working and can't join us. So she's gonna join us and she's gonna be on drugs, so that should be a fun time. She probably won't be on that much drugs. She's she's got hella pain That's why they moved her surgery up before everybody else's. Sorry. Oh, so no reality TV. Um, oh, got a new one for the Ice Files. Is that what we're calling them? The Ice Files. They arrested a 19-year-old high school student in well, outside of Minneapolis. Kept her for 7 days. She was here legally. She was on her way to get food for the family, and they drug her out of her car and took her into detention. Legal resident. So if you think they're not coming for me for you, think again. Also, I saw a conference from a couple days ago about the hospital situation. People are afraid to go to the hospital. People are having home births because they're afraid to go to the hospital to have their babies. They have ice in the rooms with people instead of normally. It's fine that law enforcement is in a hospital, but normally they stay outside of the door, and ICE agents are not doing that. They're standing in the rooms while people are getting exams and going to the bathroom and getting washed, and that's wrong. Getting their vaccinations because the parents are too afraid to come in. Um, one woman showed up at 4 a.m. in the morning because that's when ICE wasn't in her neighborhood with her 3 kids who all had pneumonia from the flu. Maybe all of them didn't, but they all had the flu. That shouldn't happen. Should not happen. You should be as long as you're not breaking the law, you should be able to walk around. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. And people are fine with it. That's what amazes me. People are fine with it. Wait till they come after you, dude, because they will eventually. Eventually, they'll run out of immigrants and they'll start going after other people because that's what they do. They want to start a war. They want a civil war. They've been itching for a civil war for over 10 years, over a decade. I saw a comment from one MAGA moron today that said, something like, it's not just ICE, it's all these other agencies. Okay, and weighing them too. I don't care. I don't care. It's illegal. What they're doing is illegal, and you're okay with that. It's insanity. And people are entitled to come here and ask for asylum. They have up to a year before they get here to ask for it. So they're not doing anything wrong. And it's crossing the border without documents is a civil infraction, similar to a speeding ticket. It is not a crime. All right. I'll stop ranting now. I'll probably have that rant again sometime. Okay. Um so I guess we'll start with entitled people. Entitled lady at resort. This says, I am fortunate to be at a lovely resort in Cabo. It has been idyllic. There are several pools. Around each pool are signs posted in several different languages that booth speakers aren't allowed. Enter Karen, gets in the pool and immediately turns on the speaker. Not obnoxiously loud, but loud. I threw a couple of glares, and so did a few other people. Like, lady, we all want to chill. A restaurant employee politely tells her that she cannot use her speaker. She says, I disagree. I'm going to keep using it. I disagree. I disagree with the rules, so I don't have to follow them. He tells her that he will have to report on her to her secure report. He tells her that he will have to report her to security. She turns it up and says, why do I need to turn it off? So he explains it's a resort policy for the enjoyment of all guests. Again, she says she's not going to turn it off. The employee leaves. A few minutes later, I see her scurrying from the pool area. I looked around to see security approaching the pool. Some people are just entitled jerks. Mild excitement says, oops, I think I tripped over your speaker. It's in the pool now. Yeah, I think that's the way to handle that. Oh, darn, I just accidentally kicked your noise device into the pool. Dang. I didn't tell my frog in my throat story yesterday, did I? Once upon a time, back in the 60s, might have been 70s, somewhere around there. It's probably 70s. My stepmother, was teaching 3 and 4-year-olds, I think it was, something like that, at Sunday school. My sisters were in the class, and she was doing this. And she says, oh, I have a frog in my throat. I didn't think anything of it. After church, the parents chit-chatted all the time. It would take us at least half an hour to leave. If you know my dad, you know why. Um, so it'd take us at least half an hour to leave. So the kids would run around playing like kids do. We were little. She was no more than 3 or 4 years old, obviously. She was in that class. So she comes up to my mom and she says, "Mmm." And then she says, "What?" "Mmm." She says, "I can't understand you. You're gonna have to open your mouth." She opens her mouth and 2 legs pop out. She takes it. I have a frog in my mouth. Mhm. I think little kids do are hilarious. So now it's a running joke in the family. All right. We have malicious compliance, and it's called MC on boss lead. to new job led to new job and him being fired. Oh, malicious compliance. A boss led to new job and him being fired. Nearly 30 years ago, I worked for the U.S. national sales company for an major automotive brand. I was in product planning, working on the launch of a new model vehicles, but was junior level at the time. My boss, when he did something wrong, it was someone else's fault, or if it was a good thing that happened, he would take all the credit. One Friday, he dumped in my lap that that a shipment of wheels and tires had to be sent to Europe for the following Monday as part of a photo shoot. This was the same trip that he had previously denied my travel request to support the event. Also, he knew about these wheels and tires a week or more prior, and I think he was trying to make me look bad by dumping it on me last minute. When I asked him about how I was supposed to get these packed and shipped for arrival in 2 days, which at least one of those days is complete travel day, he told me just to get it done and not bother him with the detail. Further, he wanted the wheels and tires back ASAP after the photo shoot. Trigger malicious compliance on this. So I booked a flight to Europe and took the wheels and tires as oversized luggage. I then rented a van, collected the wheels and tires, and took them to the photo shoot. I took care of business, hung around for the next 2 days, and then took the wheels and tires back with me. So this was over a weekend. That's overtime, isn't it? What was so sweet that the executives on site were very impressed with my dedication to make the photo shoot a success. Apparently, one of the executives sent a note to my boss praising my support in making the event work. To say my boss was pissed at me was an understatement. However, what could he do but take credit as his plan? Shortly after this, I was offered the role of vehicle manager in corporate communications group, which I gladly took, even though my boss tried to prevent it. My former boss was let go about 4 months later. Apparently, he had no one else to blame for his mess ups. Well, good. You got a promotion and he got booted, so that's always a good thing. Next, we have AITAH. AIT being enraged that my husband is currently infertile. I'm not sure, dude. My 30 female husband, 36 male, has body built for 15 plus years and has an unreal physique. I don't like, ew. That's what you're attracted to, really? Ew. I don't like the big muscle guys. I just don't. They don't look, they're not attractive to me. We got together at 21 and 27. Being young, I was naive and believed him when he said he was natural. I only asked because my male acquaintances regularly asked me. Over the years, this morphed into, I'm natural now, but I used to take testosterone years ago. I distinctly remember him telling him I'm massively against drugs, and if he ever went back on it and affected us having a baby, I would never forgive him. Cut forward to last December, I was cleaning our apartment and found testosterone. He's somewhat of a hoarder, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't an old one that had been accidentally moved. So I hid it in my sock drawer. Within 48 hours, he confronted me, angry that I took it because testosterone makes you angry. Clearly, he had been taking it. I gave an ultimatum, me or testosterone. We were set to get married this summer. He promised he wouldn't take it again, and he promised my parents too. So things settled down. We married. We have been uber keen on having kids at ASAP. Him slightly more than me, even. So we have been trying. It's been a while with no pregnancy, so we took some fertility tests. We just got the results today. Mine came back good. He showed no sperm whatsoever. The doctor asked him if he takes testosterone, and my husband replied 12 months ago. The doctor said he'd expect sperm to recover in 3 to 4 months, which means we need to take a load more tests to figure out why there's no sperm. My first reaction was comfort, obviously. But when he heard 3 to 4 months, my husband seemed less deflated than he had been when he first heard the results. So after we months, really the last time you took testosterone. After some back and forth, he admitted he last took it 2 weeks ago. He's lying to you. Dump him. Go. Go. He's a walking red flag. Go. You can't trust him. Is he gonna lie about your kids? Is he gonna get your kids on testosterone and lie about it? I'm fuming. He lied to me. He's been wasting my time. He risked our future child's health. He risked his own health. He risked our future. But he's mad at me for not being supportive and thinks I'm being completely unreasonable in my reaction. No, you're not. He thinks I should focus on the resolving the issue rather than the why. There wouldn't be a why if you hadn't screwed up, dude. That I married him knowing his history, so I should be okay with it. No, you told her things and you lied about it. He's making me doubt myself. Yeah, that's called gaslighting, sweetie. So people have read of AITAH. No, of course not. Emergency pain is the highest rated comment, saying realistically, if he is 36 and has been on TRT for a long time, he'll probably need to be on it indefinitely. Maintenance dose to keep testosterone within healthy range. He can go to any men's wellness clinic and get HCG on top of it for fertility purposes. It counters the sperm stopping properties. If he gets off testosterone completely, he'll probably feel horrible for months, if not a year or years. Oh well, let him feel horrible. Let him feel horrible. um, the next international fund replied, unfortunately, at that point, there's likely a medical issue, and he's going to have to get honest with his doctors about his youth. And Beth said, never mind that. OP should not be having a kid with this man at all. That's my take on it. Dump him. He is not for you, girl, and you're still young. You can get another one. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell. Neighbor thinks he is the king of the street. Maybe I shouldn't have named it that. We moved into our home with the first week. Hey, so I leaf blow everyone's ditches out every few weeks. I hope you don't mind if I do yours. Like, hell no, go ahead. Thanks, appreciate it. I thought it was weird how he worded it. Like he does everyone's because it makes the street look nice, and I'll be doing yours too. I was totally fine with it. Make it look nice, great, whatever. Then it got weird. This guy has an older golden retriever. Every morning, afternoon, and evening, he would open his front door and yell at the dog, go do your business, get going. The dog would pick a neighbor's yard and take a dump on it, or whatever, and would go off. I caught the dog doing this to mine 2 different times. I plan on chatting with him the next time I saw him. I was at work and I came home and my wife said, okay, our neighbor is a lunatic. I was outside digging weeds and he came walking up the driveway and said, why did we call animal control on him? He's been here for 10 years and nobody has a problem with his dog running all over the neighborhood. He is the neighborhood dog. No, he's your dog. And there are leash laws most places. My wife was like, huh? We didn't call anybody on you. He responded that he didn't believe it and then went to say how he was friends with the mayor and this and such. I can't stand people like that. Sir, do you even know the mayor's name? I was pretty pissed that this guy thought he would come on our property and try and intimidate my wife. He's a bit rough looking dude, too. I also thought he to confront anyone when he was completely in the wrong. So sure enough, one day I'm out raking the front lawn. He walks over to say something jokingly. I look at the guy and continue raking, total cold shoulder. Then you tell me he's buddies with the mayor. This is a hamlet of about 500 people. Being buddies with the mayor is not impressive at all. My response is pretty much not impressed with his bragging. I said, next time you shouldn't approach a female all alone and accuse her of something. He's like, oh man, I'm sorry. I found out it was the other new neighbor. I said, yeah, but you shouldn't be upset. It's not okay. Your dog shits all over the neighborhood. I said, you should approach people, accuse them or things, especially when you are in the wrong. He says nothing and walks away. He stopped cleaning our ditch and kind of gave me half dirty looks and stopped saying hello to me. This doesn't faze me at all. I don't give a wang if some neighbor doesn't like me when they are in the wrong. I think the problem is solved. Doesn't seem to let the dog out anymore. Well, that's good. His mayor buddy probably told him to knock it off. I don't want to fight with my neighbors. I live here, so I don't need the BS. This is my sanctuary where I come home to enjoy my life and family. But I also need to protect my home and family. You can't be walking up on my wife like that. I'm not sure about these weird subtle brags about the mayor, though. They seem like kind of weird threats. There's nothing a mayor can do to anyone, right? No. I mean, they may be able to call people on you, but that's about it. Just kind of wondering if there's anything I should pay attention to or watch for. I don't want to get a bylaw fine or that kind of stuff. Okay, example says I would get a ring camera in case he tries something, but I would have done the same thing. OP says I do have one. It actually does have a great view of the entire front yard. So that's good. Second top comment just compliments him on the way he handled things. The third top comment is from Pseudo. I had a neighbor who thought they were too. I don't know what that means. But I got my revenge. I play saxophone. When his dog was barking, I'd play Baker Street off key and would shut his shut his dog up. And then when they were having get-togethers and out on his backyard, he was on a corner block. I'll play other songs off key or not blow into the sax properly to produce a high-pitched shriek. Those high-pitched shrieks are horrible on the ears. It would drive everyone inside. Once they back inside, I'll play We Are the Champions perfectly. And we have Benign Existence entitled, I just saw a picture of my friends from high school with their kids, but here's a twist. I grew up in Texas. My family moved to Arizona between my freshman and sophomore years in high school, ninth and 10th year for non Americans. Because this was in the area of MySpace and Facebook, I stayed friends with a lot of people from both eras of my life. About 10 years ago, I got a random message from one of my good female friends from Texas that lived on my street growing up. We were both now in our mid 20s and on the dating scene. And she'd matched on an app with a guy visiting from out of town. They had added each other on Facebook before their first date, and she noticed they had one mutual friend in common, me. Lo and behold, it was my good pal from my time in high school in Arizona. He was in Texas for a work conference, and they just happened to link up. She messaged me a little anxious about meeting him since he was from out of town and asked if he was a solid guy, and I said, absolutely. And they had their first date that night. They were long distance for a while, but he moved to Texas to be with her. They married, and now they have two beautiful kids. And I can't help but think that I was the last push she needed before giving them a real chance. That's nice. I like that. Good matchmaker. Actually, he wasn't even a matchmaker. He didn't introduce them. This is entitled Looking Like a Villain's Lair. It is Long Range Discrimination Radar. And it does indeed kind of look like a villain's lair. It's giving Darth Vader vibes, if you ask me. The top of his hat, kind of. A little bit. Ant Farm Keyboard says, Go Team Venture. Next, we have Just No Mill. Mill surprise visit made a husband drop the rope. Don't know what that means. Last week, mother in law decided to visit us with less than 12 hours' notice. She stayed for 6 days in our guest bedroom. She didn't care that I had the most important meeting of my career in just a couple of days after her visit. To be fair, she cares so little about us that she never cared to ask about our lives or careers. To sum it up, mother-in-law showed up with her Mother-in-law showed up with her older son, brother-in-law number one. We'll call him Bill. Her older daughter-in-law and her two kids. It was hell. Every visit they turned worse. I've never met such uncivilized people. I'm talking about dirty diapers thrown around our house, our kitchen full of dirty dishes, the mess that only a Viking raid could explain. I'm not kidding. That's how my husband is calling them from now on, the Vikings. At least we could laugh a little in our misery. At least you have a good sense of humor. Yeah, it helps a lot. We live in a house mother-in-law owns, and we are about to move the heck out. This little visit and Mill's tantrum while she was going away, Mill got offended that my husband would not cancel our plans, instead to take her to the airport with her tons of suitcases. So when my husband put her inside a Uber, she faked crying, okay, I'll stop being a burden to you. Love people like that. Lucky for her, I didn't listen, or else I would laugh at her face. Yes, a burden is the only way to describe this unsufferable woman. But at least I have two good newses. My meeting was awesome, and I am this close to landing the job of my dreams. And my husband got frustrated with his family, so frustrated with his family that he decided to go no contact after we move out. So no more Viking visits, no suffering for me. He's done with them, and so am I. That's good. That's a happy ending. I hope that goes well for y'all. I hope they don't like harass you and stuff because they've been known to do that. Petty revenge, trying to inflate your commission. How about no? I'm not sure if this fits here, but a friend suggested you might get a laugh out of it. About 22 years ago, I was buying an old farmhouse and land that had been on the market for 2 years. I liked what I saw and knew there was going to be a ton of work to make it habitable. But I was willing to put in the time and money. I contracted their agent and everything was going swimmingly. 48 hours, the buyer has a new offer, 30K over mine, but the sellers like me. So if I can go 5K above that, the agent is sure I'll be able to get the house. That seems wrong. Now my parents were many things, but they did not bring me up to be a fool. And I was well aware I was being played. He was trying to inflate his commission. I simply told the estate agent to advise the sellers to take the increased bid and make it easier. I was withdrawing my offer immediately. I was willing to take the financial loss of all the surveys, etc., because I don't like being screwed over by anyone. I wish I was a fly on the wall to see how that conversation went. By chance, I saw the sellers in town 3 months later, and they said that they hoped I was recovering from my illness that had forced me to withdraw from the sale. Yes, that was genuinely the story that estate agent had come up with. Now, I could have nodded and smiled, but I decided to tell them the truth instead, that their estate agent had tried to squeeze me for an additional 35K, and that because of his actions, the property was still for sale. Long story short, we had a chat, and they were still willing to sell to me. And since I had all the paperwork, surveys, etc., ready to go, they could pull the property from the market, and we could just get solicitors to do their bit and conduct a private sale. So that's what we did. I got my house, the sellers got a fair price, and the agency didn't get a penny. Was it petty? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Yeah. Honestly, he should have contacted the sellers immediately when that happened. I go, "But are you really, like, taking this other bid?" Aunt Maka says, "Similar story. 20 years ago, we put in the asking price during a seller's market. It was the most we could afford. The estate agent called to say someone who had only done a drive pass, so no proof and no idea how much work was required, had put in a higher offer. He couldn't tell us the amount, so we'd have to just guess how much more to offer. I'm sure would have been just enough. Well, we couldn't go higher, so I told the agent we couldn't compete and we'd withdraw our offer and keep looking. A couple of hours later, the mystery buyer had also withdrawn their increased offer, so we'd like to reapply. I'd have loved to tell him to take a long walk off a short pier, but we just wanted to be in our first home. I hope the agent had a panic attack when we pulled out." Daddy Oh My says, "I would have dropped my offer by 5K. Yeah, for sure. But getting asking price for sellers in the seller's market's pretty good trick." Next we have Am I the Jerk? AITJ for canceling a family trip after realizing I was expected to pay for everything. What? My family planned a weekend trip and asked if I wanted to join. I agreed because it sounded nice and I assumed everyone was contributing. As planning continued, it became clear they expected me to handle the hotel booking, the rental car, and most meals because I earn more than they do. No one asked directly. They just kept saying things like, "Can you put it on your card and we'll figure it out later?" In the past, later has never come. I finally asked what the cost of the split would be. The conversation got awkward and someone joked that I should treat everyone since I'm doing well. No, she didn't plan this trip, you did. That moment made me realize I was being invited more as a sponsor than a participant. I told them I was no longer going, and now they say I ruined the trip, made money an issue when it should not matter within family. Where do these families get off? If you're hosting the trip, you pay. Not good happy Quinn says, you know you're not the jerk. Personally, I'd be going LC or NC with these idiots. You are not their bank. GNAV says, personally, I'd go on the trip myself, drag along a friend fully paid, and then post it all over somewhere there they could see. That would be awesome. Yes. Muck says, this is the way. GNAV says, you got to be ready for it, though. Just have a good time, all innocent if you go. No contact, great. But if they hit you up, they'll ask, oh, so you went to XYZ. Yeah, I was really looking forward to it. Eventually, they'll ask the question of money involved, and that's when you pop off that was never about the money. It was about getting a tan. Peace. AH family. I cannot believe people are like that, but you hear it all the time. So it only has one picture. It's expectation versus reality already. I just realized what I didn't do. It says Walmart prints. Only one picture. So you get expectation and reality in one shot. It says emotionally support Prince, dearly beloved. I'm here to get through this thing called life. And that's what the picture looked like. AI picture, obviously. And that's what they got. This was probably not Walmart. They don't really say when you order Prince and you get Little Richard. I mean, I don't know. Don't be taken in by AI pictures, people. Alone Addiction says people need to YouTube some Little Richard songs because that man was wanging phenomenal. He was. You should go listen to some Little Richard. He was pretty cool. A real early rocker. Prince also. You should listen to Prince too. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, because we want the enemies to learn. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email link to today's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com. And the email address is also in the description for your convenience. Tell everyone you know. I should put coworkers in there too. It's okay, I got work to do later, so maybe I'll remember. All right, next we have our real estate segment, and this is in Garden City, Utah. That's a nice house. They are wanting $1,795 for that house. They claim it's 10 bedrooms, 10 baths, 7,569 square feet. It does not look that big. I mean, it's Utah, so it's a Mormon family with more than one wife. Okay, it's a little bigger than the other houses. Why is it like a parking lot? I'm so confused. It's in a condo area. See, this house is definitely 2 houses, and so it's 2 houses. It's a duplex that they cobbled together. That's my guess. Wow, 3 stories. It has a slide for the kids. Yeah, they have 2 stoves. There was a polygamous family in this house, no doubt. No doubt in my mind. They have 2 dishwashers. Or maybe they were Jewish. If you know, you know. I want to see a picture of this family that's living in this house. It is so Utah. That's what I said. It's definitely a polygamous house. Yeah. How many people are living in this were living in this house? How many kids you got? How many wives? That's what I wanna know. How many wives? How many kids? Did the Browns live here? Because Cody would have loved this. I don't think with that many people, I would have wanted an open floor plan to the living area between the living area and the kitchen. I would want that because it would be just too loud. Bedroom 1, bathroom 1, 10 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms. The dining room is giving $100 night with a continental breakfast. Totally. It totally was. What? You only have 2. Okay, with this many, you need 2 washers, 2 dryers, or at least 2 dryers, because drying takes longer than washing. Oh, I like how this picture has the neighbors. We have the indoor play place. Lauren says they're so rich and they spend their money in the strangest ways. They do. Why do you want this indoors? This is an outdoor adventure thing, not indoors. Oh, see, I told you it was polygamist household. Here's the second kitchen, second wife kitchen. We'll see if it has a third one. There's a dorm. At least they're watching TV, I guess. Could be worse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 kids in here. Why does that look like the same picture as before? Okay, one of these beds is for the wives that aren't getting any attention that night. It's a different bathroom, but looks exactly the same. And that's how you know it's a polygamous family because everything has to be the same. Because you can't have favorites. Another sitting area. Does this mean we're going downstairs? There's the hatch for the, the slide. Oh, here we have the third kitchen, so at least 3 wives, or at least 2. It's a nice big room, a basketball hoop. Why don't you just put this stuff outside? Do you not have room? I'd want some land with this. Another 4 beds. So that's how many? 12 kids? And who knows? I mean, is this the third wife? This had got to be a polygamous family. Why you got a weird door like it's a business? I'm so confused. Oh, this is the adult room. Holy cow, that's ginormous. An indoor pool with a slide. This is crazy. These people have more money. This the, or is this the area for association, homeowners association? Another indoor play place. What the heck? That is an outdoor play place indoors. Why? Holy cow, these people are crazy. Mormon church has a lot of money. That's probably where they're getting it. Yeah, that was a public area, not their private home. Because that cannot be, that's got to belong to the whole condo, not just them, right? Am I right? That is wild. That's a little wild. $1,795,000. 10 beds, 10 baths. 9 full bathrooms. 1 3/4 bathroom. Yeah, 2 bedrooms on the main level. They don't have broken down the rooms broken down like they'll do a lot of times. A lot of times they'll tell you where the bedrooms are and everything. Yeah, that HOA was all the clubhouse and the thing, all the water stuff. Nice having an indoor pool that you can use anytime you want. The light size is smaller than the house size. If that tells you anything. Yikes. That had to be a polygamous thing. Had to be. Specialist Garbage has the top comment and it says, "Good morning, boys and girls. Today's lesson is something called polygamy. Can you say polygamy?" Clowns for Kids says, is there like a polygamy job placement service? These guys are always so dang loaded." William Paris says there's a doc on YouTube about how polygamists are the kings and queens of welfare. One of the families they profile is that family on Discovery or History. You mean TLC? It's TLC. Most of them work with a church affiliated business. The church is the customer, or the business customers are only other church members. Strange hearing them explain how they should get welfare, whatever they call it, because they're doing God's work populating the world. The world is populated, people. You can stop now. Promise. Hubbite says, yep, he can only be married to one wife, so the other wives are single parents with multiple children. That qualifies them for food stamp welfare benefits. The Mormon church should take care of their own people instead of relying on all of us. Old Energy said, I hadn't seen the link with the state and I was flipping through pictures, but I knew it was going to be Utah. Oh. Yorkster says, ha, that was my first thought when I saw the parking lot in front of the house, but this is clearly a multifamily residential resort home on Bear Lake. People having a family reunion would rent this and have a bit blast. That that could be fun. Polygamy homes are very utilitarian. They're big and spacious, but rather Spartan and plain. They give huge creepy vibes. Yeah, it could be fun to have a family reunion there. I This is from Traumatized and Back, and it's entitled Americans Are So Stupid. Can be. I don't lie. I want to preface this by saying I loved my time in the UK and I'm not bitter about any of it. This is actually a story I find quite funny and still think about it when I reflect on my time as an American living in the United Kingdom. I'm from Alaska, but went to university in the UK. It was during the Bush administration, I'm not going to lie. It was tiring having people hate 18-year-old me because of United States politics. I was the only foreigner in my class, and you should have told them you were from Canada, dude. Have you not learned? All Americans are Canadians until proven otherwise when you're outside the US. In class one day, we were discussing globalization as it related to the material. I can't remember how it got brought up, but one of my classmates said, well, all Americans are so stupid they think Scotland is a state in England. I politely raised my hand and offer a rebuttal, but my professor smirked like he knew it was going to be good and called on me. I turned to my classmate, CM, and said, have you traveled to the US? CM, yes. Me, where? CM, Orlando. Me, okay, how many times? CM, twice for about 2 weeks each. Me, how many Americans would you say you had conversations with during your time on vacation, roughly? CM, probably about a dozen. Me, okay, I have lived in the UK totaling 2 years now, so it is safe to say I intimately know more British people than you do Americans. Yes? CM, sure. Me, great. How many times have you, do you know how many times I have heard Alaska, that's in Canada, right, from people in this country? So let's make a deal. How about you not judge my entire country based on 12 idiots you met on vacation, and I won't judge yours by the significantly more uninformed people I've met here while living here. Our professor bent over laughing, and the whole class looked at me in silence before the professor moved on to our next prompt. Added, one of the things I got a lot was people trying to stump me on European geography, which I knew well. I mean, I'd wanted to live there for school since I was a child, so I was familiar. After I answered their question correctly, they would say, "Okay, now you tell me where Kansas is." Ha ha ha. The state of Alaska alone is 7 times the size of the UK and is one-sixth the size of the entire continent of Europe. The scope and mass of the US is lost on so many people over there. Edit spelling, edit two. To all the British people in the comments who are having big feelings about this was not a story about how Americans aren't dumb or how British people are dumb. It was a commentary on how, in my experience, British people expect Americans to be intimately familiar with European geography, territory, or they're dumb. But those same British people shouldn't be expected to be. The US being huge is relevant because we spend a lot of our education learning about American geography, and many people in the US still struggle to know where the things are in their own country because of how vast it is. Expecting those same people to be familiar with European geography or they're dumb just isn't based in reality. Personally, I don't expect people in Europe to know America's. They don't even, especially in the UK, in England specifically, they don't even have a concept of how big it is here. They think they're an island, we're an island. No, we're not. We're a freaking continent. Apsum says, to be honest, I think a lot of people just generally don't know their geography. I know people who think Indonesia is, wait for it, India. Oh, that's bad. Go Corral answers, well, that's wrong. It's obviously part of Indonesia. It's funny. Haha. Oh, somebody said Texans get mad when you tell them you could split Alaska in half and makes Texas the third largest state. I used to live in Homer. Or the OP answers, haha, I've done that before. Alaska is covered with I'll mess with Texas bumper stickers. That's funny. Next we have confession, and it is entitled I changed a road sign to make my commute easier 13 years ago. I don't think that's really cool. That does not sound cool. On my daily commute, I was very inconvenient to no right turn between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. sign. I had to make a right to turn about 7:20 a.m. every day. For a long time, I would just break the law and make my turn anyway, or go around if I thought there were too many people watching. But maybe out of boredom, I did a bit of research and found the ticket for the illegal turn was more than buying a sign from the supplier that makes signs for our area and several other locations. So I ordered a new sign that was no right turn between 7:30 and 9:30 a.m. I figured it was a good investment. I went to the trouble of buying it through an alias and having it sent to a location that was not at all near where I was. Real cloak and dagger stuff, but it was part of the fun. In the middle of the night, I went and removed 2 bolts and put up the new sign. At first, I was expecting for it to be removed or someone to look into it, but it has been more than a decade later and no one has ever even noticed or changed it. By the way, yes, I did think of just taking it down, but I figured it would be noticed by someone. And to be honest, the whole scheme of getting a new one was part of the fun. Jade says, I work in construction and order signs all the time. So far, I've been told to get, but I've had many small community people whinge about stuff like people speeding through areas with lots of kids, and I tell them just order their own signs and put them up. The worst that'll happen is they'll have to take them down if somebody notices. Most people just assume the signs are legit. Opie says, I believe that the sign company didn't even blink when I did it. Yeah, sounded like people order one-off signs all the time. I don't know. There could have been a reason that they wanted it at 7 o'clock, like school stuff and stuff like. You may have been endangering people by doing that. You want to see a bear? You want to see a really fun bear? And distracted a bear to protect kids is what it's entitled. Bear? Oh, that's a bear. That'd be me, those people scurrying off with their kids. Yeah, that'd be kind of scary with a bear yelling at you like that. It does not sound fun, actually. Replacement middle says, "Don't put your hands on me, sir. I'm coming home from work." The purple color says, "By sir, you mean the man who has absolutely massive balls." Duncan Edwards gives us context. It's on the street in the tourist town of Gatlinburg, Tennessee, way up in the Smokies in East Tennessee. The bears have been coming to town for a long time now. They don't usually cause any trouble, they're just hungry. It's not a good idea to piss them off unless you can move through town like Usain Bolt. Maybe on Mars says, as someone that lives in Africa, I've fielded questions from Americans about lions walking around in our streets, and of course they don't. I've always wondered why the F they would think we have wild, deadly animals walking around our streets, and now I see why. Lions are not bears. Bears are nice. And someone says, these are not even the deadly ones. The mountain lions are quiet and don't mess with you if they're not snarling, but it's pretty sobering to be smoking a cig alone outside of a bar at 1 a.m. and have one of those things walk down the other side of the street. So now we know lions don't visit the cities like bears do. Next is from Am I the A-hole? AITA for giving my son's friend a budget for the dinner she's making. My son, 23, male, graduated university back in June, and he moved across the country to live with us since he found a job in the area. He's been living he's been in a long distance relationship with his girlfriend Carmela, 21 female, until October. She initially took a semester off from college and was living with her mom. However, she's decided she's not going back. Her mom said she would have to move out and she has nowhere to go. My son is moving into his own place in January and had invited her to move in already, saying she could get a job in the area. However, she needs to move out sooner, and they both asked if she could move in. I agree. Neither are paying rent, as I personally don't believe in charging kids to live here, and it felt wrong to charge. Carmela, anyway. I just asked that they clean up after themselves and be respectful of everyone. They agreed. Carmela moved in after Halloween, and she's been a joy to have here. She's still looking for a job. Most nights she's offered to cook to give back to us. I told her it's not necessary, but she insists. She's a good cook, so I tell her if she wants to have at it. A week into her living here, she mentioned that she wanted to buy a certain dish, but we didn't have the ingredients. I offered to give her my card so she could buy groceries. Since then, it's been a regular thing, and I didn't mind it initially. She picked up my groceries as well, and it seemed to be a good deal all around. But a couple of weeks in, she started wanting to make multiple trips a week and buy things that I normally wouldn't budget for on a regular basis, such as seafood and steak. I asked her on Sunday when she went to the store, please get everything she needed in one trip, and she said okay, and I thought that solved the problem. Cut to Monday night, we finished dinner, and she and my son are talking while I'm doing the dishes. Mentions wanting to make steak on Thursday. My son says that sounds good. Carmela says she'll have to go back to the store. My son turns to me and said, Mom, give her the card. And I tell them no. I say I've already given her money to go shopping on Sunday and told her to get everything she needed. Also, we can't swing everyone having steaks this week, 6 people in the house. But maybe we can make them for Christmas dinner. And then go on to say if Carmela wants to keep cooking for us, which I appreciate, I'm going to have to put her on a budget. I apologize for not doing it sooner. Carmela looks upset and my son seems offended. Later on, my son tells me I embarrassed Carmela when she's just trying to be nice. I said I appreciate her cooking dinner, but she's doing it on my dime and I can't afford it. I pointed out he's free to give her money to do this. My son pointed out they're only here for a few more weeks. Can I just make my guest happy? Am I really in the wrong there? I mean, no, there are limits to food purchases. I have to limit myself. Everybody has to limit their purchases according to their budget. They should not have given her a free rein to begin with. And her son can pay for steaks if he wants steaks. My kids did it all the time when they lived here. And yes, I also did not charge them rent because I don't it should pay rent. If I did charge them rent, I would have saved it and given it to them at the end. But when they wanted something special, they went and bought it themselves. They also didn't cook for me, so there's that. I mean, you could look at it the extra as payment for cooking. Wes Morgan says, "Ooh, that's triggering." Wes Morgan says, regardless of her intentions, treating you like as an unlimited bank for food purchases is disrespectful. Capping your food expenses is a completely reasonable thing to do. NTA. Sit down with both of them. Tell her that you love her cooking and that you'd love to sit down and plan meals with her. But you have to stick to a budget because you don't have a money tree in the backyard. P.S. If your son complains again, ask him if he's going to give her an unlimited food budget when they move in together. I bet he changes tune at that thought. Secret Identity wants the steaks now. Steaks are expensive right now. I mean, it's cheaper to go out to eat steak than it is to buy steak and everything else and cook it yourself. Waffle Fries and a Baby says, NTA here. She probably had no idea that you didn't like the arrangement, and the average 21-year-old is pretty clueless. She's probably embarrassed, and that's okay. It's okay to experience negative emotions when you unwittingly do something wrong, especially to somebody already doing you a favor. You have every right to set boundaries about your food budget. You pretty much all have to be aware of that and how expensive groceries are. Sounds like you said it kindly and appropriately. Your son needs a reality check. Sounds like them moving out will be a reality check for them. Yeah, these kids are in for a big surprise. I wonder if they were living in the dorms at school. So they have no idea how much things cost and how much that of a chunk that takes out of your budget. This is from Overheard, and it's entitled Dairy Girl. I was standing at the checkout line at the grocery store when I overheard a mom and her son mid-conversation in front of me. Mom, she's cute. Son, who? Mom, the girl working in the dairy aisle. Son, she's not my type. Mom, you didn't even look at her. Son, I already checked her out. Mom, when? Son, while we were literally in the dairy aisle, I saw enough. She's okay. Mom, hear me out. Stop being so picky. Believe me, no one is pickier than a parent. But you need to get over your ex and start dating again. I'm here if you need my help. I can be your wing mom. Son, or I can be your single son who's not attracted to the dairy girl, and you can just be my mom who decides to accept that so we can both move on. The two of them continue talking, but I stopped listening because I noticed that I forgot something in my grocery list and had to leave the line. Top comment is from Stone Cold Chicken Wing, and it says, Wing Mom. Oh. So Irreverent Mango says Dairy Girl's got it going on. There's just something about her dairy air. Right now says, oh my Lanta. And TDR says, it's not your Lanta. Oh. Salty Hemi says, quit milking it. And the answer to that is before it goes sour. Salty Hemi says, dare I make another joke about milk or would that lack taste? Tiger Baby says it might lack toes. Do more. Salty Amy says intolerant. And Zulka says, you guys, cheese Louise. So cheer off my chest. Looked like a good one. Somebody wanted their aunt to adopt them, but it was removed by a moderator, which sucks. So instead, we get one from last month entitled, My Mother's Boyfriend Made Me Realize How Insecure My Stepmother Is. I feel like we read this, but I thought maybe. I've just gotten to know a new world where I'm basically treated like a person, not a nasty fly. I speak Spanish, so if you want to leave a comment in Spanish, feel free. My father has been married to my stepmother for 6 years and they have 2 kids together. I'm 17 years old. I'm quiet. I clean all my things. I work part time, so I even pay for a lot of my things. But I'm not perfect. But I've never been a problem. But she always makes me feel like one. Yeah, this is Luigi's story again. Ah, we read that already. When the tear off my chest. I must have not. Must not have marked it the last time. Okay, we'll try this one. And we'll mark it this time that we read it. I have to be more aware of myself. All right. Starting over. This is from Cheer Off My Chest entitled My Ex's Girl Bestie Learned What It Like to Not Be the Hottest Girl in the Room. Okay, so this is petty but kind of funny to me, so I thought I'd post. So back in the day, I was in love with this guy who we'll call Jay. Let him treat me like dirt, whatever. You all heard it before. It's embarrassing, but I learned from it and moved on. Good for you. We should all learn and move on. Anyway, he had a girl bestie who we'll call Amy. She was actually one of the most passive aggressive people I've ever met in my life. Super mean to me. At the time, I was a bit chubbier, so she was able to make me feel super bad about myself. He always sided with her and brushed off her bullying as joking, and that's just how she is. And it was a nightmare. Please stop apologizing for bullies. Stop doing that. Call them on their bullshit. We would fight about it all the time, and he'd just call me insecure, which is, to be fair, I was at the time. Anyway, we broke up years ago, but he did a number on me for sure. I've not heard about this man in years because to me, once you're done, you're dead to me, and I will never look up at what you're, and I will never look up what you have going on. But recently, I met up with an old friend who had been part of a group with Jay and Amy. She used to date one of Jay's best friends. They split pretty recently, also due to Amy. LOL. We had gotten close and kept in contact, but I've always asked her not to give me any details. But I'm recently engaged. Yay! Good for you. Congratulations, OP. And Jay reached out to me in a new Insta asking if we could talk. I didn't respond, nor am I going to because there's nothing to talk about. It's been like 4 years. But I mentioned to my friend, and she was like, oh my God, I have so much tea I've been wanting to spill. I just didn't want to cross any boundaries. I was like, okay, I'm over it, but nosy, so what's up? See, I'm too nosy for that. I'd want to know right away. Like, what's he got going on? So basically, Jay and Amy never dated, but they always had a super weird relationship. And it was clear he was into her, but she wasn't into him. But she liked his attention. Well, any male attention. Amy is a pretty girl. I hate her, but she's not ugly. But she's like the hottest girl in a small town type of hot, if you get what I mean. And we all have lived in a small town at the time. So she was Ms. Everything over there. Anyway, apparently a woman who we'll call Scarlett, because she's low-key looks like a bit like Scarlett Johansson, moved into town temporarily for a reason I don't know. It's kind of random town, and she was originally from a huge city, but whatever. Anyway, Scarlett met Jay at a bar, and they hit it off and ended up becoming friendly. And I don't know if it was romantic on her part, but he was trying to woo her for sure. And apparently, it seemed he may have had a chance. My friend sent me pics of the girl, and she's actually so pretty, it's insane to me. Like, how? She was apparently a former model, and honestly, I have no doubts about that. She's like TV beautiful, like beautiful in every city, town, country you want to go. Universal 10. And Miss Thing Amy suddenly was outshined by the highest degree. So Amy was mad and did her whole power trip thing, and Scarlett was interestedly like, nah, I'm okay. Jay went nuclear on Amy because, to be honest, this girl was so far out of his league, it's insane. And he knew he'd never probably be in the same room with a woman like that ever again. Anyway, Scarlett legit ghosted him straight up after first meeting with Amy and apparently never spoke to him again. What a queen. I wish I had done that. And Jay lost his mind and spilled all Amy's dirty laundry and verbally tore her apart, and she responded with just as much venom. So their friendship is done, their friend group is shattered, and the a-hole in me is so happy. Any Amy finally got out-hotted and learned she isn't all that. Jay losing a baddie is funny too. Anyway, this is a good lesson for girls to let men prioritize other women. If they are into you enough, they'd fight for you. So if that bum's telling you his friend is just joking when she's being a bully, leave. Yes, 100%. He go to war for his Scarlet, and if you ain't getting, you ain't. If you ain't get, are wasting your time. I found my prince who liked me as I am, and far from the cutest girl in the room, and it doesn't matter. I am more than that. Hold up your head high and give your energy to those who deserve it. 8675309. It's not the number, but that's what one I'm going to say. Says, this some good gossip. I don't know y'all, but I was invested the whole way through this post. Glad Amy and Jay got humbled. They deserved it. And the OP says, I know it makes me feel shady, but I do love some gossip at the end of the day, especially when it's about people I don't like. Art says, shady, nah. Petty potato material, probably. We love ourselves some pettiness. We do. It's true. Deleted person says, ha ha ha, they both deserved it. I wish I had the same self-esteem as Scarlett. I also keep holding on longer till it broke me, but I'm getting better. Yeah, we gotta stop doing that, girls. We gotta stop holding on to somebody who doesn't love us and doesn't respect us. This is from Oh No Consequences, entitled, I mocked my brother for not having a job after he dropped out of high school to take care of my baby, who I abandoned. Why did he tell her the truth? And it's originally from Am I the A-hole? AITA for telling my niece her mother tried to give her away as a baby. I, 28 male, got into a huge fight with my sister, 31 female, last week. The argument has been simmering for a long time, as tension between us has been high for years. When I was 17, my sister had an accidental pregnancy, and she told her boyfriend he left her. Due to our religious family, she kept the baby. But once her daughter was born, she panicked. She didn't want to go through the legal troubles of adoption, so she asked me and our mother to take care of her kid. There was no legal custody, but it was agreement made within the family. Essentially, I raised my niece from birth until she was 3, with help from my mother as she was working to support a new addition to the family. I dropped out of school and took care of her, fed her, changed her, taught her how to walk while my mom was away at work. Then my sister met her now husband, cleaned her life up, and suddenly wanted her kid back. No warning. She moves back home and says that thanks and starts being a mother. My niece is now 11 and doesn't remember all my all her and my grandmother did. It's been a family argument. My sister made a petty comment during a fight where she implied since I lost my job recently, I can't handle responsibility. I snapped and told her she was lucky her daughter was too young to remember how she abandoned her. My niece overheard this and now wants to know what I meant. I outright said that her mother didn't think she could raise her and left her with me and grandma. Now sister says I traumatized her daughter, and my mom says I should have kept the secret like we agreed. I think this secret couldn't stay kept forever. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Hello, I'm here to give some more context and answer a bunch of questions of the most common questions when the argument happened. I had put my niece to bed hours ago. We were at my mother's house, so no one knew she was going to come in. Secondly, after my niece was born, my mother moved states to get a job. Also, she was 20 and I was 17. And finally, in the aftermath, I said I can't go back now since my niece already overheard us all talking. So, as a group with her stepfather, we should get together and explain it better. But since the event a week ago, my sister has been saying that we should blow it over and that my niece will forget if we don't bring it up again. Don't she's not, she's 11. She can forget when she's 3. She ain't going to forget when she's 11. I'm frustrated at this, and I know she's now slating me. I don't know, understand that word. Alongside my mother. Can we not make that happen? Can we just stop saying that? My mother believes I'm in the wrong for arguing with my sister in the first place, whereas I say she has no right to criticize me for losing my job when I lost my education caring for her child. I'm trying to get in contact with my niece's stepfather to ask him for his. Yes, I was asked by my mom to drop out of school, and so I did. I didn't go to college later. I had no intention of hurting my niece, but she had already overheard what was said. So I felt that keeping it from her now would just cause her more confusion. Now I'm trying to backpedal the best I can with the family's assistance to be able to properly explain the situation to her. But my sister and my mother both want to just pretend this never happened. I hope my niece forgets as she grows up. I'm starting to wish I was clear from the beginning. I said I was 17 when my sister had the accidental pregnancy. I meant that I was 17 when the baby was born. That's the same difference. It doesn't matter. You're 17 and taking care of a child. Inugos says, zero chance an 11-year-old is going to forget about this. No kidding. Angry young woman says, yeah, and it's pretty unfair to keep her in the dark after what she overheard. I agree. So this wasn't consequences for the OP, it was consequences for his sister. Scalding Hell says she will forget. 7 years from now, she's going to wonder why her daughter forgot to keep in contact. Abandoning your child when you're not ready is one thing, berating your brother for raising you is another. And trying to sweep it under the rug instead of explaining the circumstances is asking your child to feel unwanted. 100%. Mildly infuriating. Some of the student artwork my school board wants to get rid of. So there's pictures. It's a beautiful picture. It looks like Marilyn Monroe. Obviously copied from a photo or something. Well, that looks cool. These are students that did this, remember? I love the unicorn. That's neat, too. Mona. That's cool. Rainbow Stairs is probably the Rainbow Stairs, isn't it? They want to get rid of all of them because there's Rainbow Stairs. Panders. That's cute. That's awesome. Peacock. The ocean. Unlearned 16 Joe would be appalled that somebody wanted to get rid of these. I know. You just feel it. That's cool. Cute. Spidey. Jim Morrison. Is that it? That's it. Oops. Cannibalism says, I remember my high school art. My high school had art all over the walls as well, and it was one of the only good things about that school. I still have my photo of my favorite art piece on one of the walls. It always spoke to me. I thought it was beautiful. Cropolyps says, our high school got repainted after consultation with a flailing interior designer of some kind. We had 3 floors, medical scrubs mint, bile yellow, and prosthetics green. Soft color to soothe the adolescent minds. It was soul-crushingly ugly. I hope OP wins. Why do schools need to look uniform? In general, 1, they will recognize it and know its address. No need to turn several of them into the same gray soul-sucking uniform hellscapes for the sake of uniformity. Cannibalism says, I hope so too. I totally agree. At my high school, the student art was the only nice thing about the decor. It was all beige with yellow artificial lighting, and most classrooms didn't have windows or at the most had small, narrow windows. Apparently, the lack of windows was supposed to help the kids focus, but it was depressing and dark. The AC was also broken, so it was sweltering near the summer and or during the winter. My school was orange. School colors were orange and black, and my school was orange. The lockers were orange, the walls were orange. I don't know if they've ever changed it. Um, and some of these classrooms didn't even have windows at all, as they were interior. It was built in 2 of the sections were built in squares, and then they had to build on. So the outside section what was originally the outside section was it became an inside section in those classrooms on that side of the hallway, on those 2 sides of the hallway. Did not have windows at all. It sucked. Luckily, I did not have very many, classes in those rooms. Most of them were on the outside, and if they weren't, they were on a courtyard, so you still had some natural light and stuff. But it was cold because it was the energy crisis. We wore our winter boots and our snow and our, coats all day long. AITA, am I overreacting? AIO for giving a girl this note. Am I overreacting? I'm sorry. Weird. Okay. I'll share the note. I felt weird saying this in a waiting room with people and your coworkers. I hope that note isn't strange. I think I saw you at a smoke shop in some Flint the other day. And girl to girl, I want to let you know the older man said some creepy things when you left that made me uncomfortable. Please be careful around him. The young one you were friendly with didn't really participate, just awkwardly laughed along. But girl to girl, you deserve someone who smacks a bitch who talked to you like that. You are beautiful and deserve to be safe. I feel like I had to say something. Oh, that sounds nice, actually. I apologize in advance for my sloppy handwriting, but for context, I go to this doctor's office once a week to get allergy shots. The other day, I stopped at a new smoke shop. Another customer came in who I recognized but couldn't place where I knew her from until I saw her working as a receptionist today at my allergist. It's sometimes it's really hard to place people when they're out of context. I ran into the receptionist for my doctor's office, and it took me forever to realize that the lady in Target that I talked to was the receptionist from the doctor's office. Shop. One seemed to be around my age, 25, and an older gentleman who made me uncomfortable the entire time. He wasn't interested in helping me. He was interested in chatting with me about life and personal things, and I kept ignoring him. When she came in, she seemed to be friends with the younger guy. They seemed to have a flirtatious vibe going on. When she left, the older guy proceeded to make comments about her and her body that disturbed me because they were in a sexual context. When I finally placed who she was and I knew her from when I saw her today, I just felt this overwhelming nerve like I had to tell her because I was scared this was her usual shop and I wanted her to be cautious around this guy. But I didn't know how to tell her because the office has a C-shaped desk with several other receptionists next to her and a busy waiting room, and I didn't want to embarrass her. I decided to write a note to keep it private. I had texted my friends to see if it was a good idea, but never heard any feedback, which left me hesitant. Ultimately, I decided to give her the note, but now I'm battling with second thoughts, wondering if I just made her self-conscious. I hope not. Well, I hope you did make her self-conscious that she needs to get away from that guy. Or if it was just wasn't my place because she isn't someone I know personally. No, no, we protect strangers too. That's what's going on in Minneapolis right now. People are protecting the strangers, people that they don't know, and it's a good thing. That's a good thing. We all have to help each other, whether we know each other or not. Well, another part of me feels like she needed to know because she had a flirtatious relationship with the younger guy, and if that goes anywhere, she may frequent the location more, and she's obviously already a regular there if she's close enough with one employee. I don't know. I keep tried to keep the note lighthearted and funny to make it less creepy, but I kind of feel like a weirdo. Am I overreacting? Top comment from Historical Duck says, not NOR. No girl, I think she would be glad to know you were looking out for her. Thank you for looking out for her also. You should be safe around this guy too. Yeah, because who knows what he said about you after you left. The OP says thanks and that they're never going to go there again. Itu Moore says, leave them a bad review on Google. I dare you. And OP says, challenge, puts a GIF up, says, challenge accepted. Plant says, not overreacting. If I was a regular customer somewhere, I would absolutely want to know if a staff member was saying creepy crap about me after I left. In my opinion, this is a definite of girl's girl. You went out of your way to relay information that may ultimately keep her safe. Good job. And then OP says, that's the way I was looking at it too. Uh, I'd want to know, and it was second guessing because you never know. People feel differently. A 22 by 2 says, thanks for making this post. A few years ago, I met a guy at a bar who was really friendly, outgoing, charming, good looking, and we ended up bar hopping with him. He even opened up his barber shop where we had some more drinks. He was really cool. But when he asked about women in general, his date who was on the way, what he said was pretty gross and misogynist. When the girl got there, she seemed really shy and insecure. Something about seeing the contrast between the two really made me uncomfortable. That and things he said. I ended up going to the bathroom to write her a note discreetly and ask her to read it privately. Sometimes I wonder if that was rude of me, but I also saw a very clear divide between how he treated and talked to men and women. My friend at the time thought I was being too involved, but looking over the replies here makes me feel like I did the right thing, regardless of what ultimately happened there. Something about seeing that facade drop so quickly gave me the real heebie jeebies. Yeah, gotta watch out for each other. Guys, too. Not just women, guys, too. Next is the observer life, and it says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you're allowed to lie to your tables. I was shocked to discover my coworkers almost never lie to tables today. Like bartender gets backed up because they're flirting with someone rather than pouring beers. Just tell your table the keg needed to be changed and that the beer will be right out. Kitchen throwing hands with the dishwashers and not cooking. New kid in the back there wanged the recipe and needs to be remade. Customer has a request that is stupid and asinine. That's a health code violation, and the inspector will just showed up, but you totally do it normally. That's a bad lie. Don't lie like that. Someone out orders a medium steak but no pink. Ring it in well, but when you hand it, say medium steak, no pink, because that's a medium steak. That one is acceptable. That's because they don't know what medium is. Someone asks what the best thing you have is. It's the fastest and easiest thing out of the kitchen. Just makes sense. Job so much easier. Old Dead Grass says, lying is a tool, in my opinion. Use it for the right reasons, and it's great to have on your belt. Yeah. Best of Redditor updates. Entitled, My Female 28 Boyfriend, Male 33, says he's disgusted by my body hair and I have to laser remove it and pay for it or else he'll leave me. He says I'm not taking his happiness into consideration. If I can't sacrifice for them, what else won't I be willing to sacrifice down the road? Well, no, I'm not sacrificing for you, and you can go below. Originally posted to Relationship Advice on May 14th, 2019. That's been a while. I've been dating my boyfriend for 14 months. A few days ago, he confessed he's disgusted by my body hair and wants me to get laser done on my forearms, private area, and legs. That's like permanent, dude. People should not have to permanently alter their bodies for your comfort. I'm sorry. At first, I said no because I accept my body as it is, and he's never expressed any complaints about my hair before. To be honest, you can't really see my forearm hair. It's just a bit of very subtle blonde hair. I wax my legs once a month and groom my private area as needed. Not even a hairy person. He elaborated on how it disgusts him to look at it and gags at the thought of touching it. What you been doing all this time? How long you been together? 14 months? You've been together over a year and it's just now gagging you? At first, I thought he was looking for a dumb excuse to break up, but he was dead serious about it. So I agreed to compromise and bleach my forearm hair because I don't want to wax or shave it. He said even bleaching it would make the hair practically invisible. He'd still know it's there and feel disgusted about it, so lie to him, tell him you did it. He told me I had to get it permanently laser removed as well as my crotch and legs. That's expensive, dude. You paying for that? I said I don't mind having my legs done with laser, but I'm not even sure they can fully and completely remove all the hair in my crotch area. And while I don't mind temporarily fully shaving waxing if that makes him happy, I don't want to have it all laser removed because it's my choice and I don't feel like I should be pressured into it. I compromised and said I'd at least think about lasering the crotch area, but if he wanted me to laser remove my forearms and legs, it was only fair that he paid for it. True. He refused, saying it doesn't cost that much. It does. And since it'd be permanent improvement on my body, I'd be the one benefiting from it. I should just be the one paying for it. Took offense to these comments because I don't consider lasering my body hair an upgrade or body improvement. Just wait a few years. It'll fall out anyway, likely. Lots of us women lose our leg hair as we age. Shocker, I know. Somebody tried to convince me there was something wrong with me. I had bad circulation. I'm like, I've had this chat with like 10 people in my family, and every woman has had it happen. And none of us have ever been um, diagnosed with problems like that. So, no, no, we do not have circulation problems in my family. We just lose our hair as we age. My arm hair, too, is kind of pretty much gone. Not the hair you really want gone, though. I asked again if he was looking to start up because the situation seemed too bizarre. He said if I wasn't willing to sacrifice something this silly to make him happy, what else wouldn't I be willing to sacrifice further down the road? He loves me and wants to build a future together, but I'm not taking his happiness into consideration, and this is a deal breaker for him. The past few months we don't live together. He's been sending him messages with quotes from different laser hair removal salons telling me to make a decision already, that I am the love of his life, but I have to learn to budge to make this relationship work. No, no, you don't. If you're the love of his life, he should love you as you are. These are all his problems, not yours. To be honest, this whole thing has greatly put me off him, and I'm reconsidering if this person I want to be with. I feel pressure to change something about me, and I never had an issue with, and I feel he's given me an ultimatum to choose either laser my body and pay for it to please him, or he leaves me. Big Blue Wookie says he's right. You need to sacrifice. In this case, sacrifice him and move on. It'll hurt in the short time, but it'll be cathartic for you in the long run. 100%. Angel Cat says if you were really the love of his life, he wouldn't tell you that your body disgusts him and he gags at the thought of touching you. 100%. I agree with everybody telling you to get out now, but it might be fun to play along for a bit and agree to laser any part of your body that he lasers first. After all, if body hair disgusts him, so living in his own must be an ongoing nightmare. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Henna Vexy, dump him. Two reasons. He asked you to operate a definitive change in your body to be allowed to stay with him and prove that you can sacrifice things for him. It's a major red flag. Laser removal isn't a light thing. It's expensive. It hurts. It requires you to not expose yourself to sunlight for a while. The whole process is long, and the most important, it can be permanently damaging. Not going to go into details, but it dries up your skin, which is really a problem on the intimate part, especially. A lot of dermatologists say that total laser hair removal on the vulva isn't recommended at all. Laser hair removal needs to be done only if you feel like it. It I did it because I was extremely insecure, but I would never have done it because somebody asked me to. Never. Don't let him take control over your body. Run. Yeah, what else is he going to come up with later that he's got to control? Immervividin. Seriously. Not to mention laser hair removal probably wouldn't even work for her if her hair is that light. From what I understand, it only works if there's a pretty dark contrast between the skin and hair color. Update does not say have a timeline. I've been talking to my mom and brothers today, and actually two of them are here with me now. And after talking to them and reading the comments, I decided there's no going back, and I'm leaving a sorry butt. One of my brothers asked me to move in with him, and I said yes. He lives in another city from where my ex and I live. I spent all morning doing arrangements with them. I talked to my boss, and I'm getting some personal days off work until Monday to sort out my situation. My brothers and I have been packing my stuff all day. It's not much because I live in a small studio apartment and I don't have many belongings, so we should be done moving everything to his house by tomorrow at the latest. Another of my brothers will come later with a van to move everything. It should be done in 2 trips. I texted my ex saying I'm sorry for being stubborn and I'll laser like he asked because I love him and I'm willing to sacrifice anything for him. I said I got an appointment at a local laser clinic tomorrow, but my skin will be irritated after the first session, so I'll need to rest for a day, especially the crotch and legs. So I won't be able to meet him, and besides, I don't want to see him to see me like that. I told him to come over to my apartment Friday night. I'll order takeout from his favorite place, and I'll show him how I look without hair. He says it's okay. Friday night we have a date then. I'm in too much pain to even walk him. I said my mom is going to stay over to look after me, so she's going to walk the dog. This is all BS, but it's my escape plan so he doesn't get anxious about me not replying and decides to show up here. I don't want him to know I'm moving until I'm physically out of the apartment. I don't want him to suspect anything. Maybe I'm being overly paranoid, but better safe than sorry. No, you're right. I also talked to my landlord before and explained I'll be needing to move out. My lease expires the 1st of June and I've already paid for this month, so it's all good. I also explained that I'm getting away from my ex who was being abusive and controlling and offered to change the locks in case he ever returned using his key because that would scare the new tenant to death. She's offered to take the cost from my deposit, so that's one less worry from in my mind. I think I've got everything covered. Initially thinking of breaking up with him in a coffee shop and wanted to give him peace of my mind. But I think I'm just going to do it over the phone the second everything is out from my apartment and I'm at my brother's. I'm just going to send him a text saying a few things and block him everywhere. I don't need to go out of my way to hurt him. I just want to move on, cry it out, and move on with my life. Yeah, definitely give yourself time to cry it out. Wallowing is okay for a short time. I hope this is the end of it and he doesn't do anything crazy. Again, better safe than sorry. Also, don't worry about the doggy. His papers are in my main. He's got a microchip, and I'm taking him with me to my brother's house. Update May 17th. So that's 3 days later. Hi, guys. This is an update on my previous post. I just wanted to update you on my situation so far. I dumped my now ex-boyfriend. I sent him a text with a link to the other thread and told him I've decided to laser remove him from my life because I'm not, nor shouldn't have to be willing to make sacrifices down the road, like modifying my body for anybody. Yeah. What's he not going to do? He's going to want a boob job. That's what the next one was. I told him his unhealthy attitude towards women's bodies disgusts me and makes me gag. He's unable to compromise, don't respect my wishes, space, and boundaries. I won't allow anyone to pressure me into doing anything I'm not comfortable with by giving me an ultimatum. He's managed to put me off him, and he's not the type of man I choose to have a relationship with. Psychologist and suggests he makes an appointment to sort out his developmental issues, phobia, or whatever the hell is wrong with him. I asked not to contact me again and blocked him. Almost straight away, he sent me a video of him from a different number crying his eyes out to the camera saying he loves me and I'm ruining his life. He had great plans for me and is only guilty of wanting me to achieve my full potential as a woman. Women have hair, people. Women have hair. I deleted it and blocked that number too. A couple hours later, he sent me yet another video of him from another phone saying I took two things too far by posting it online and making him go viral, and he's not a pedophile, and why wasn't I answering the door? I didn't finish watching that one either. My brother called him on the number and said that if he didn't leave me alone, we'd go to the police, so he better quit harassing me. He's since stopped bothering me. I cried a lot the first day because I was in so much pain inside, but then it hit me. As much as I thought I loved him, nobody that crappy deserves me crying over him. Exactly, girl. Good for you, girl. Go, girl. His crappy attitude has helped me get over him pretty quickly. And although, of course, I'm still hurt over the disappointment he turned out to be, but being with my brother, I moved in with him in another city, and my puppy is keeping me very distracted. I like to eat tacos and go dancing. The world keeps turning and life goes on. Thank you so much, all of you, for your support and the kind messages. Chartreuse Chimney says, only guilty of wanting me to achieve my full potential as a woman. Ha ha, how far up in his own butt can he get? Good for you for getting rid of the trash. Forgetful person said he had great plans for her. This statement made me feel like OP would end up a skin lampshade or Jocelyn Wildstein. I don't know what Jocelyn Wildstein is. Little Miss Savoir-Faire is the top comment on this thread. It says, once you're fully plasticized sex doll, your full potential of a woman will be achieved. Exactly. Maracuja, Barracuda. Whatever. Something Barracuda. All your dreams are made when you're chained to the mirror and forget the razor blade. This lyric is about cocaine, but when I was in middle school, I thought it was about being a woman. Okay, that's good. We'll stop there on that one. This is from Made Me Smile. OC, one of my happiest moments that ever happened today. I'm going to have to copy and paste this one so it's big enough. Oops. There we go. I only copied half of it the first time. There we go. What? All right, there we go. Share that one. This one. So I'm autistic, and one of my special interests involved Matthew Lillard in some way. FNAF, I don't know what that means. Scream and Scooby Doo. So naturally, I adored the guy. I went to GalaxyCon in Columbus over this weekend to see him, since it is closest to where I live. I was crying very hard at any time I looked over at him. Everyone around me was being very sweet until it was my turn. Matthew told me he liked my chosen name, Kurt, and then asked me why I was crying so hard. He didn't even hurt me. I told him it was because he was very important to me. He kept making jokes and saying nice things and trying to make me laugh and smile, and walked me out away from the crowd of his line. I told him that I had photo ops later in the day with him and that I'd see him. He then said I wasn't allowed to cry during my photo op, and I promised I wouldn't. At the photo op, he remembered my name and gave me an extra hug, even though it was very rushed. He is such a good actor and genuinely amazing being. I've seen so many articles about how Quentin Tarantino trash talked him over the weekend. So I want to counteract this with a little appreciation post. If you haven't seen FNAF2 and want to, it's definitely worth the watch. Well, that's nice. And I split it on the wrong one. That was dumb. So it's a lot of nothing from the photo op though. Just from her first menu. So that's nice. He was nice to her. That's good. Vintage Ideals says, I want a Matthew Lillard hug. OP says they will fix everything wrong in your life, I promise. It did look like a great hug. It's always nice to find out that um, actors are good people or people you admire are good people. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you for watching, listening, whatever. I don't mind if you just listen. It's fine. You're not going to see the pictures, but you can go back and do that. It's fine. It's all fine. So I will see you on Tuesday. Have a good weekend. Try and stay warm. Try and stay safe if you're in the South because it's looks like it's going to be nasty down there. Um, my BFF in Indianapolis is expecting twice as much snow as we're supposed to get. So, and I hope it doesn't come up this way. So I'm kind of sick of the snow. Yeah, no green in my yard since the warm up. I don't like it. Not my choice to live here. Should have moved while I had the chance. Darn it. It's fine. I will live. All right. You guys have a good weekend. Stay warm. Stay safe. I love all my biddies. Love you all. Bye. Bye.